This is the Overdue Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the show. That's Trav. I'm Drew.
And I'm Trav.
This is the Overdue Homework Podcast, and as always, we are here to give you our opinions on 80s and 90s media. Please contact us at podcast@overduehomework.com. Trav, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Good. Not a whole lot new going on. I'm pretty excited about the Gears of War coming to PlayStation.
Nice.
So that'll be sweet. I'm waiting to see if it'll have a physical copy, for starters, because I need that. And then it says August 26th, but every time I check, I can't tell if pre-orders go up August 26th or the game comes up.
I don't know. I only played the first Gears. I didn't play any of the other ones, so I don't know. I don't have much invested into that game.
The first three are super good, and this is just the first one remastered. So.
Oh, interesting. I did buy Forza Horizon 5 for PlayStation 5 because that's another one that made its way over to PlayStation.
Nice.
I love those Forza games, and I did buy it for my PC, but I've found myself not really wanting to play games on my PC.
Yeah.
There's some stuff where I'm like, oh, that's only available on PC, and so sure, I'll buy it there. Very few things, though, because I'd much rather be sitting in my armchair on my PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess I could easily just wheel the PC over to my TV and plug it in and do it that way.
Could.
But that's like, and it's only like 5 feet. I gotta move it, really. But
right.
but
I
still.
could play Gears on the computer, but no, I want to play it on PlayStation.
Exactly.
Trophies.
Especially since how janky I know somebody out there's gonna be like, it's not that difficult, but how janky the PS5 controller is on PC.
Yeah.
And I used to be all Xbox controller. That's what I like, the offset thumbsticks and all that stuff. But then after I moved over to PlayStation 4, now 7-8 years ago, I prefer the PlayStation controller now. It's just mostly probably the one that I use the most. That's just really why. Yeah, exactly, I guess. Anything else, Trav?
I don't think so, man.
I just got back from Colorado. Well, for the purposes of this podcast, I just got back. It was really like 2 weeks ago. But I just got back from Colorado. Kristen and I went to Colorado for our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Nice.
So it was a lot of fun. We went to Colorado Springs. We saw all types of stuff.
Sweet.
We saw the Garden of the Gods. Which is this geological masterpiece in the middle of Colorado Springs. It's unbelievable. We got a personalized Jeep tour because we were the only people there. Because get this, normally this time of year, Colorado's an arid state. They don't get tons of rain.
Sure.
Normally this time of year, it's like 60s, 70s, but like clear blue skies, sunny. Make sure you got your sunscreen and your chapstick because you're, a mile high in the air compared to where we're at in Minnesota.
Yep.
Nope, overcast and rain the whole time we were there.
All right.
All this stuff all over the news was like historic rainfalls, flash flooding, and all this stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad. We made the best of it.
Sure.
We still got out in the rain and went and did stuff. We went to Cannon City, Colorado, which was so we flew into Denver. We got a rental car. We drove to Colorado Springs, which I will never drive in Colorado ever again.
Okay.
They drive crazy fast there.
Yeah.
The freeway speeds are like 75 miles an hour, so
right.
everybody's going 85, 90.
Sure.
Very, very fast. And the downpouring rain probably didn't make it much better for my trip driving in the rain on the freeways there. But we drove to Cannon City, which again was in the rain, this time in the mountains a little bit, so it was a little scary, but that's okay. We went there for this train ride, the Cannon City something or other train ride. You get this dome thing, and you get to go like see this historic train tracks and all these cool stuff. But it was raining and snowing the whole time we were doing it, so we didn't really get to see anything because we were constantly wiping the windows down from the fog. And then halfway through the trip, we had to go back because there were rocks falling on the track and hitting the train.
All right.
So, I mean, you just go one way on this track, and then you go back the same way on the same track, just in reverse. So
sure.
They got it was probably more like 3/4 of the way through the trip, and they're like, so there are rocks falling on the track and hitting the train, so we have to turn around. I'm like, great. Paid like $300 for me and my wife to go on this train, but we'll do 3/4 of it. No big deal.
Yep, no problem. We'll take our $66 back or whatever.
No refunds. No refunds. We got seated with a cool couple that was from Texas. They were staying further up in the mountains. They were a cool couple. They were about Kristen and I's age, so I don't remember them asking for our age when we like signed up for the tickets. They may have. Maybe they just did it from our licenses or something like that because we also had to provide licenses. But everybody else on the train was like 75 and older. But it was fine. You know, it's just one of those things like, oh, a lot of really old people here and Kristen and I. But it was really cool. So we did that, and then we drove back to Colorado Springs. And this whole time, we've got a Mountain View hotel room that we spent a little extra money on because it's our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Right.
Can't see the mountains at all for the 3 days that we're there. The first day we get there was like the hardest rain of it all, and it was like really foggy. We could only see like the first level of the mountains, and we're like, oh wow, this is really cool. And the next day it was a little bit less rainy and a little less like cloudy, so we could see like a next level that was even higher. We're like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go do Pikes Peak, and we're supposed to be able to see Pikes Peak from our hotel room. And then finally on like the 4th day we could finally see Pikes Peak, and it was like, oh my god, amazing,
beautiful.
And we didn't end up going to Pikes Peak because we were going to do that the same day we went to the Garden of the Gods.
Okay.
But the night before, because of all the rain, there was severe winter weather storm warning in the mountains. Pikes Peak got 50 inches of snow.
Jeez.
50 inches of snow. 50. And so they're like,
crap.
Pikes Peak is closed.
Yeah.
Pikes Peak
We'd
was
be closing Pikes Peak.
So we didn't get to go see Pikes Peak, but we got to go 3/4 of a train ride. We got to see the Garden of the Gods. We went, also with the train ride, that's like, was that this? No, Garden of the Gods Day was the same day. We went to Manitou, which is a suburb of Colorado Springs. It was like this touristy town with all this stuff. Had a really cool penny arcade, which it wasn't a penny. Everything was a quarter. But it was basically like arcade machines as far as you can see, pinball machines. In all these little, like, it was like a little area that had surrounded by like an outdoor food court type of thing with really crappy food court food. Like, not like Sbarro or anything, like deep fried, like, fair food, I should say, fair food.
Yeah.
So it was like in all these other like little rooms and like all these little buildings. So it was all split up and kind of weird, but it was tons and tons and tons of pinball machines and video games. And it was really fun. It was like the off season. So we basically had the pick of the litter. We could do whatever game we wanted to basically.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. We did that. We ate at a couple of really cool restaurants. We ate at this smash burger place they did Wagyu beef smash burgers. So that's that Japanese beef that's supposed to be really amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Turns out it's true.
Turns out it was true. That was like the first night because it was right behind our hotel. So we walked there. Had a couple of adult beverages because we're celebrating.
Yeah.
Then the second night we went to, what was it? It was Nacho Mania. Nope. It was... Oh, man, it was this nacho place. It was only nachos.
Nice.
What was the name of that damn place? It was like Nacho Mania, something like that. Sorry, Colorado Springs. But that was really cool because it was some really awesome nachos that we got to have. And then the third night we went to this place called Urban Egg, which was really good for breakfast on the third day. Had an Eggs Benedict, and Kristen had this like super spicy scramble thing, and I was like, dang, that's spicy, girl. Like, you you have that. That's fine. They really love their jalapenos in Colorado. Jalapenos on everything there. And then we went to, where else did we go? Oh, and then we went to a Guy Fieri restaurant called the Rocket Club.
Nice.
I don't know. It was really cool. They had these giant pieces of pizza, not unlike Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Giant, like as big as your head pieces of pizza. So that was pretty cool. All in all, it was a really, really great trip. Flew United for the first time. Never had flown United before. It was fine. I just usually try to choose Delta if I can. If I'm flying somewhere, I'm going to choose Delta. But we flew United, and they got no TVs in the back of their seats, so it was raw dog in that flight.
Raw dog in that flight.
I actually watched the Reno 911 movie on the way out, and on the way back, I don't remember what I watched on the way back. Oh, Tim and Eric show. Tim and Eric, awesome show. Great job. That's what I watched on the way back. But yeah, it was a really, really fun trip, and I was sad to come back, happy to be back at the same time because I missed my children. Yep. So yeah, it was a really fun trip.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. Definitely going to bring the kids back to Colorado because there's tons of stuff for kids to do in Colorado Springs. So we're definitely going to go back.
Maybe wait till June.
Yeah. If the weather would have been nicer, it would have been like perfect.
Legendary.
And historic rainfall. I mean, we got 2 inches of rain over like 4 days.
Yeah.
That's not that much, honestly.
No,
We just got that in like a day and a half here.
Yeah.
And so they were like, flash flooding, historic rainfall. Where's all this water going to go?
The craziest thing is 50 inches of snow.
Yes,
50.
Yeah. So, because we ended up having to spend a few evenings that we would have probably spent out.
Yeah.
We ended up just staying in the hotel, which was unfortunate because of the rain and stuff. And
at least you got a nice hotel.
yes,
so.
we got a nice hotel. We did have the rental car, and we did valet it the whole time. It's pretty sweet. Except for the fact that it still costs like $80 to park it, and then I had to tip the guy like $5 every time he got my car. So I was like, that's all right.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's completely okay, because, it's one of those things where it's like, you want to get that? Sure. We are on our anniversary trip, so let's just spend the money.
Yep.
Worry about it later.
Yep.
Worry about it later. It was a really, really fun trip. I'll definitely go back. I'd recommend you and Lauren go there sometime.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, it was a very, very recreational state.
For sure.
If you know what I mean.
For sure. Definitely.
Very, very recreational. It was great. All right, Trav. In the preparation of this podcast, I used a couple of articles, one from ScreenRant.com by Austin Carroll Baker, and one from CBR.com, and that was by Sergio Pereira. And of course, our homework review is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze from 1991, directed by Michael Pressman, written by Todd W. Langan, based on characters created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, produced by Thomas K. Gray, Kim Dawson, and David Chan. Starring, the live-action portion was Paige Turco as April O'Neil, David Warner as Professor Jordan Perry. And David Warner, it's weird to see him in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Because he's like a real deal, like, great actor. Ernie Reyes Jr. as Keno. They call him Kano. Don't they? They say it weird. I always say Keno in my head, but they call him
They
Ken.
say Keno?
Keno. They say Keno. I don't
That's
they say Keno, and I always want to call him Keno.
Yeah.
Francois Chow as the Shredder, and Kevin Nash as the Super Shredder. Don't forget Kevin Nash. Toshishiro Obata as Tatsu. Mark Doer as Freddy. Michael Pressman as the news manager. Raymond Serra as the police chief. Stern, and he's from the first film. Vanilla Ice as himself. Don't forget Vanilla Ice. The voice cast is Brian Tochi as Leonardo, Robbie Rist as Michelangelo, Adam Carl as Donatello, and Carl replaced Corey Feldman as the voice of Donnie for this film. And the reason why he was replaced is because Mr. Feldman was in rehab at the time.
That's crazy.
Lori Faso as Raphael. Kevin Clash as Splinter, who is also the voice of... Kevin Clash is also the voice of... Elmo. David McCarran as the Shredder. Michael McConaughey as Tatsu. Frank Welker as Tokka and Rahzar. And Frank Welker, we've talked about him before. He was the voice of Megatron on the Transformers series.
Nice.
It was released March 22nd, 1991 at a budget of $25 million, a box office of $78.7 million, and that's $184.3 million in 2025.
It's crazy that he was in rehab and this came out 1 year after the original, right?
Right. The thing that I read said he was in and out of rehab from the late 80s through most of the 90s. So, yes. So he may have needed rehab during the
exactly.
First one. You never know. Trav, are you ready to break it down?
Let's break it down.
Let's do that. And of course, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze from 1991. So as crazy as it sounds, there were many people who felt TMNT was just a fad that was going to fizzle out at the time. After the massive success of the first movie, New Line wanted to push out a sequel as quickly as possible before it was too late. The result was a sequel that was shot and released in less than a year after the first entry came out.
That's insane.
That's insane turnaround. So our movie opens to the iconic 90s New York City skyline. And of course, those Twin Towers are right there. And some very jazzy music that reminded me of Beverly Hills Cop.
Yep.
It was an obvious clone.
Definitely.
And everyone is eating pizza. Just
yeah.
giant slices of cheese-only pizza.
Yep.
They all just want cheese
Everyone
pizza.
just wants the cheese.
So over to Roy's, which is like the epicenter of all the pizza in New York City. It's just packed with people.
It's so busy in there. It's just
So busy.
insane.
So busy. Would you eat a pizza from a Roy?
I would definitely eat a pizza
Why
from
not?
Roy. I would prefer something else other than cheese.
Yeah, definitely.
But
throw some pep on there.
throw some pep
Just
on
a
there.
couple of peps.
A couple of peps.
Pepperonis. Aquino, he's got a delivery to make.
And it's to our old pal, April O'Neil.
She is constantly ordering pizzas. He's even like, her again? Like, dang, lady. Keno hits on some sluts and gets shot down as he calls one of the girls fat. It's very smooth of him.
Very smooth.
Keno was a Keno. I'm gonna try to say it the way they say it in the movie. I want to say Keno.
Be someone a little thinner.
Keno was a stuntman from the original movie. He was portrayed by Ernie Reyes Jr., obviously, who has done action scenes in films like Avatar, Act of Valor, acted in front of the camera for Surf Ninjas and Rush Hour.
Oh, yeah.
One of the first jobs for the young stuntman was performing as the body double for one of the turtles in the original movie. The producers were so impressed by him that they offered him an expanded role in Secret of the Ooze. So he was just really good at flips and shit. So
That's
they're like,
badass.
you're in the next one, son.
You're in the next one, son.
It's Hollywood.
You're going to kick some ass.
So he's off to make that delivery. And he makes it to April's place, but there is some crime happening across the street.
Yeah.
So Keno goes to intervene.
Yeah. With the pizza in
With
hand.
the pizza
Why don't
in
you
hand.
just quick go deliver the pizza? I don't know.
And there's a bunch of dudes that all have pantyhose on their heads. I mean, what is he, night security?
No, he's pizza delivery.
It's the first joke of the movie. Turns out Keno has some skills. He studied the martial sciences, that's for sure.
Yes, he did.
And he beats the dudes up big time. But there's tons more dudes.
Yeah, naturally.
Like every criminal in the area showed up.
yeah.
Every
To
criminal.
rob this one place.
This one place that they're not hiding the fact that
No.
they're robbing it. They got vans
Wide
that are
open.
wide open with stolen TVs and stuff in it. They're not trying to hide it one bit. Keno, he's outnumbered, so whatever shall he do? No worries, the turtles show up to save the day. And bam, title card! Oh, man, that was pretty sweet. They're all jumping in the air and shit. I love that.
It's badass.
It's very amazing. Keno can't believe what he's seeing because he's seeing 6-foot-tall turtles.
Right.
I would have been a little bit more agog at the situation than
Yeah.
he was doing. And so it's just the turtles. They're doing what they do, being ninja cowboys, doing yo-yo tricks,
Yeah.
pretending to be a Bop It clown, which... That's such a weird little thing because, like, they're looking for these turtles. They're fighting these turtles. And then there's this turtle he thinks is a toy.
He falls for it.
I don't know. Falls for it. And don't forget the nunchuck meets.
Yeah.
Some combat cold cuts. So the Ninja Turtles have always had kind of a strange relationship with the UK. In the 80s and the 90s, violence in TV in the 80s and the 90s in the UK was heavily censored. Censors felt that the Ninja Turtles fell under this category, which led to the series being retitled Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles in the UK. Interesting. One of the hottest points of contention was Michelangelo's nunchucks. Throughout the European version of the cartoon, Mikey's famous weapon was edited out. In the second movie, the UK took issue with the scene in which Mikey used the chain link sausages as makeshift nunchucks, as they felt it was too close to the real thing. The scene was completely edited out of the European cut of the movie. So if you're from Europe, you've never seen that.
That's insane.
They're like, nunchucks made of meat? It's too far.
That is too far.
Too violent.
That's where we draw the line.
Overall, it's a very, very fun, super fun opening sequence. It sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
This one's going to be a bit goofier.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to be a bit goofier. The Turtles have Keno call the cops, and they tie up the bad guys.
And it being 1991 and all, Keno had to go find a payphone.
Yeah, of course he did. A payphone. I love seeing a payphone. I don't know what there was a payphone at the depot for the train.
Yeah.
It was raining, so I didn't go outside to see if it actually worked as a payphone, but there was a phone in there. It was on the hook. I should have went and
Matrix?
made there you go. I should have went and made a phone call and told Trinity to get me out of there.
Seriously.
Get me out of there, Trinity. Get me out of there. And when he gets back, the turtles are gone, and so are the pizzas. Over to April, and she's being identified for the audience by some guy and his wife on the street in front of her apartment across across the street from where all the crime just happened, right? Because he got off his moped with the pizza to go deliver the pizza and then noticed the crime and went across the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sure.
That dude's like, you're April O'Neil, the news lady. So there you go, audience. So why was April recast? During the production of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, so the first one, the actress allegedly kept complaining about the direction of the film. She was also outspoken against the level of violence in the movie. She also defended director Steve Barron after he was fired from the film, if you recall that from our last podcast. As a result, Haug was kicked to the curb. They're like, "You're out of here. You're a pain in the ass.
Get out of here."
So inside April's apartment, and there's a rubber snake in the fridge. That's Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Comics on the counter. Leonardo. Skateboard on the floor. Donatello, obviously.
Naturally.
And that weird spring thing you see old-timey dudes doing exercises with.
Yeah.
That's Raphael. I don't even know what the hell do you even call that. What do you call that thing?
I've no idea.
I've only ever seen that in like cartoons and this movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in real life.
Useless? I don't know.
And it turns out the rat is the cleanest one, and that's Splinter, of course.
Yeah.
She's not just talking about some rat.
Yeah.
The Turtles, they live with April.
Ever since the last movie?
I mean, I guess. They don't really, I guess.
They're not in the sewers.
The Turtles, they come in the window, and April greets them, and she's pumped that there's more pizza in their hands, which when they come in, they're all holding the pizzas, like, vertically and all this shit. They just be a pile of pizza in the end of the box.
Yeah.
That's right. She's like, oh, pizza again. Oh, that's great. And then the Turtles start throwing the pizza around the room because they're goofy teenagers. April loves that.
Loves it.
Any luck finding a new place yet? Well, it turns out they can't go back to the sewers because of the Foot Clan. They know where they live. But they took care of the Shredder. Do you love how they call him the Shredder?
The Shredder.
The Shredder. So what do they have to worry about? That's what Raph is wondering, at least.
And down comes Splinter from upstairs, and he has a lesson to teach.
As ninjas, they always have to practice the art of invisibility, which they are terrible at.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Terrible at it. The outside world beckons their teenage minds. The world can never be ours because you guys are a bunch of giant turtles with weapons. So,
yeah.
But what about pizza? Pizza's okay.
Pizza's
okay. Even Splinter likes pizza.
Is this after they asked why he was up on the roof?
No. We're getting to that. No, not yet. Splinter, he assures April that they will be out of her hair soon. He knows that they suck to live with.
Yeah.
He's like, he knows at least it probably sucks to live with 4 teenage boys. They're teenage boys.
Right,
So,
exactly.
that would suck to live with. Besides, they do not belong above. They don't belong above. They belong in the sewers, just like any good turtle. The turtles must focus on where they must go and leave the Shredder buried. Instantaneous foreshadowing. Instantaneous. We see that Shredder is still alive in the trash. So it's been like a few days since the last movie.
Yeah.
Originally, Shredder was not supposed to come back. The Turtles have a huge selection of villains to choose from. Eastman and Laird, the Turtles creators, wanted the sequel to focus specifically on Baxter, Stockman, and the Mousers.
Okay.
But the producers were too worried about the logistics of action scenes involving the robots. So instead, they brought Shredder back, and Stockman's character was changed into Professor Perry.
All right.
That's why there's created stuff that doesn't exist in the comics. I've never read the comics. Have you ever read the comics?
Nope.
Never read the comics. My only experience besides the movies is the television show.
Right, the 87 series. Right?
Correct. Yes, correct. A little bit of the more modern ones, but never anything more than an episode or two.
Yeah.
Never anything more than that. Over to the Foot Clan in the junkyard. It's their fallback spot. So it's been hours since the Turtles defeated Shredder then. Honestly, right? Because it seems like they're all coming back from the fight.
Yeah.
It's been hours. Hours.
Anyway, Shredder's back.
Right after Tatsu tries to take control of the foot, let any who challenge step forward. And Shredder's like, I challenge ya. Shredder has only one thing on his mind, and that's revenge. Revenge! The next day, we meet Professor Jordan Perry, and he's representing TGRI. He's in charge of cleaning up the buried toxic waste, the same waste/ooze that was responsible for the creation of the turtles.
All right.
Back at the apartment, and the turtles are watching April and Professor Jordan on the news. Raph wants to put it on Oprah, but Splinter is very interested in what is happening with TGRI because the turtles don't know. They know about the ooze. They can't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that I went to a live taping of Oprah?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I had brought that up before. Robert Downey Jr. was the guest, and it was before Iron Man.
Yeah.
So he had an album that he played live on the piano. It was weird.
That's crazy.
It was weird, man. I wish I would have kept it. I got rid of it for some reason. I wish I would have kept it.
Like you had it taped?
Yeah. Well, no. I have the tape, the VHS tape somewhere. I was looking for it the other day, honestly, because of this movie. I'm like, where is that tape?
Yeah.
It says Oprah in big red letters on it, and I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it. I do have a bin full of, like, random VHS tapes that I've just been holding on to, like VHS tapes of, like, exercise stuff. Like, just random VHS tapes that for some reason I can't just throw away.
Yeah.
Even though I probably should just throw them away.
Some Tybo.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, honestly, I think there's some of that crap in there. I think it's in that bin. That's in the crawl space. I didn't make it back into the crawl space. Very interesting. But I had the CD. That was the gift at the end of the.
Oh,
and if I remember right, the like show before, or like 2 shows before, Oprah gave like everybody in the audience a car or something like that.
Oh,
it was something ridiculous like that, and we got a Robert Downey Jr. CD. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We did it.
So back at the waste cleanup site, and I seem to recognize that guy helping April. He's a member of the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
Hey. And he finds some giant dandelions, obviously, a byproduct of the ooze. So he grabs one and brings it to Shredder for reasons.
That's not what he was supposed to do at all. He was supposed to like keep an eye on April and like kidnap her, basically, I think.
Yeah.
But for reasons, I'm going to bring this back to Shredder. Look at this pretty flower.
Sure. Shredder wants to find out what caused the crazy growth and if he can use it against his enemies. Tatsu has a mission for tonight. Back at the apartment, and the turtles are cleaning up and being wacky.
That's what they do.
Obviously. Donnie is making out with a dirty mop.
Yeah.
Weird.
Good job, dude.
And Mikey makes a Karate Kid reference. Wax on, wax off, wax on. And then they smack him.
Yeah, mouth off.
Mouth off. Thanks, Raph. April comes home early, and the turtles are disappointed that their surprise is ruined. But where's Splinter? He's on the roof doing what?
Coming to a decision. That was a very long pause.
Very long pause.
Subtle dirty joke, most definitely snuck in by some creepy writers.
Definitely.
What is he doing up there? Coming. Okay, Shredder. Splinter.
I brought that up to Tim, and he said he had heard that before. Like, he never noticed watching it, but he had seen some video about that inappropriate thing stuck in the movies.
That is definitely one of them.
But, yeah, I caught that one time when I just had it on the back. Coming to a decision. I'm like, what is happening? It's not that long, but it felt that long.
It felt that long.
But it is time. Join me above. Origin story time. The ooze mutated them, like we learned in the last movie. We just know where the ooze came from. It was TGRI.
Yes.
It is time for the turtles to seek their answers of who and what they are. Little do they know, Shredder is on the same path.
Oh, my God.
So over to the TGRI labs, and Jordan is disposing of the last of the ooze. But look out, there's Tetsu. Good news, though. The turtles are there. They love the lab. It's like video games, but for real. And it feels like a video game in this scene, too.
Yes, it
definitely.
does. Yes, it does.
But whoa, look at this place. Where do you put the quarter? Donnie hits the computer. He does machines.
Yeah, you know.
All of the ooze seems to be disposed of. All but one.
All but one.
Donnie might be able to locate it, but it might crash the computer. So do it.
Yeah.
The computer crashes,
Yep, it does.
obviously, and no time for that, though, because Tatsu and the Foot show themselves.
They just like come out of nowhere, like they were there the whole time,
They're
just like
chilling.
Hey, let's see what these guys do. They're pretty funny. Let's see what they do.
Maybe they're proving that's how to be invisible.
There you go,
like,
right?
Which the turtles suck at.
Yeah.
And they have the canister. The turtles steal it, obviously. So it's time for a little game of keep away. It's a fun acrobatic fight.
Yeah, it definitely is.
that includes chair surfing and tons of flips.
Tons of flips. Just start chucking flips in there.
Just chucking flips in there. Ultimately, the foot gets away with the ooze.
Ninja vanish.
Ninja vanish. I thought it was funny that he throws it at them.
Yes, he does.
Seems weird instead of popping it at their own feet. But
Ninja vanish.
Ninja vanish. Back to the junkyard, and Shredder is pleased. He has Professor Perry, and it's time for all of them to find out what the ooze can do. The next day, the turtles are moving out of April's apartment. Okay,
See ya.
Sure, see ya. It's just too dangerous for April for them to stay there and re-enter Kino. He has an extra pizza, so he thought April would want it.
So, like, the dude in apartment 13 didn't answer the doors. So, do you think that was all just a facade? Like,
It had to be.
Why even bring the pizza then?
He was definitely just interested
Yeah.
in figuring something out.
Yeah,
by going there.
just go there then.
He suspects something. April tries to throw him off the trail by demonstrating her expert checking. Not working with someone who's so well versed in martial science. But that does not work.
Nope.
Kino spots a turtle foot, and then Splinter comes down. And Kino passes out.
Yep. Just stomps on
That's a little too much.
Who was it? Was it Raph's foot or was it
Raph's?
Yeah, he
yes,
stomps on
Raph's
Raph's foot. Yeah, just
Yep.
stomps on it instead of being like, "Hey, I think there's a turtle behind that. I'm gonna stomp on
I'm
that.
gonna stomp on that shit." And then we get the rest of the turtles' backstory.
Yay! Names from an old Renaissance art book found in a storm drain, and that's how Splinter gave them all the names. Just this random book in the storm drain. Just great. All the good ones end in O.
And that gets Mikey some more flips.
Yes, it does.
Donnie tells Kino about the foot looking for the ooze, and Kino volunteers to get recruited by the foot so that the turtles can find the ooze and stop the Shredder.
What do they want to do with the ooze? They just want to get it. They just want to stop Shredder from getting it.
Basically, yeah, they just don't want it to get used against them.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But Splinter isn't too keen on that idea, obviously.
No.
And Raph thinks it's a good idea. Splinter says no. No. And back to the junkyard, and Tatsu found two of the most vicious animals to expose to the ooze. Perry tries to talk them out of it, but it's a no-go.
Yeah, Tatsu really threatens him. He's just like in his face, like, I'm going to kill you, dude.
I'm going to kill you. And that's enough talk for me. We'll begin.
We'll begin.
So Perry basically just dumps some ooze on the animals they have. And
Seriously, he just puts a hose in there and starts hosing them down.
I mean, I've seen the movie a lot, but when I was watching it, even though I was paying 100% attention, I rewound it to see if I missed something. Like, do they show? No, he just pops the hose in there and starts dumping it on him.
Fill it up.
Fill it up to the top and see what happens. But, whatever. Flash over to the turtles, and they're heading back into the sewers. A little nostalgia trip.
Yep, absolutely.
Like the first movie. Raph and Leo have their patented adversarial stances, and Raph wants action. Leo wants them to stick together.
Yep.
So Raph heads off on his own,
just like the first movie.
And leaving the other three turtles to find a new place to live. Mikey falls into the perfect location.
Quite literally.
It's an abandoned subway station.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Despite the fact that it's Spider City.
Yeah.
Ever tell you about Spider House rules?
No.
So my last place I lived in had like this, I don't know, like area behind. It was a tuck under garage was my last place. And had this area behind the tuck under garage. And no matter what you would do, it would just like fill up with spider webs. Ugh. And my friend Mike, when he was living there, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the Spider House rules." And I'm like, "That's hilarious, Mike." So forever and ever, it was known as the Spider House rules.
Nice. Back to the junkyard, and Shredder's pushing Perry for results, but the products of the ooze aren't quite ripe yet.
Nope, not yet.
Shredder is adamant that the next fight with the turtles is going to be a freak against freak.
Freak against freak.
Freak against freak. Back to April, and she's in the newsroom. She wants to keep pressing the TGRI stuff, but her news manager wants to drop it. But she's not going to do it.
He's like, go do this story on fashion. You're a woman. I'm sexist. It's 1991.
That's how it works. But then the turtles call.
Hello. Donnie really, really does love April O'Neil. And he's a teenage turtle, and she's like a 35-year-old woman. I don't think it's going to work out, Donnie.
Probably not. So now she knows that Raph is missing.
Great.
Back over to the junkyard, and the newly mutated monsters are being released from the most ridiculous cell I've ever seen in my life that would never hold them, but
their cells will no longer hold them.
No shit. Like, I'm surprised they did before the Ooze. It's like a bunch of refrigerator doors and like dryer doors and all this random ass shit. I mean, it's the junkyard, so I guess that makes sense.
It does make a little sense, but it doesn't look like it would hold anything.
No, definitely not on the one board holding that together, and then it just falls over. They're not even doors, it just falls over. It's time they learn who their master is, so remove the bar
and leave us.
Master!
Remove the bar and leave us.
Come forth. It's Tokka and Rahzar.
Yeah.
Great reveal. They look hideous.
They do look hideous. It's some really good, like, not puppetry work, costume design for those characters. I guess it is puppetry work technically, but they look really good.
Oh, definitely.
They look really good.
And even though I loved this movie as a kid, they used to scare the shit out of me, honestly. I mean,
definitely. The Henson crew really went for realism and scariness with those character designs. Which,
definitely.
Yeah.
Especially Rahzar.
But
they are a wolf and a snapping turtle.
So those were the most vicious animals that Tatsu could find.
Yeah.
A snapping turtle and a wolf. Why not like an alligator and a shark?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a shark is logistically not. But the Ooze could have made him sprout legs and be able to breathe air.
And
right?
where are we finding brown wolves?
That's very good. That's a very good question. How did he get that wolf?
How did he get that brown wolf?
What about like a gorilla and an alligager?
There we go.
Right?
Seriously.
A gorilla. Or they could have done a rhinoceros and a warthog.
They could have. But they didn't. Come fight me if you will. In the end, you will call me master. Mama. Mama.
Babies! Babies! They're babies!
What did you expect? They're infants.
They're stupid.
Okay, they're stupid babies.
I love how Perry calls them stupid babies. Yeah, they're stupid babies.
Yeah, they're stupid babies. So Shredder wants them disposed of naturally. Give up, obviously, right away.
Kill them.
But they have some other attributes, like superhuman strength, so that's a thing. That's all it took to convince Shredder, at least. So maybe he'll keep them after all.
Maybe he will. Maybe he will.
The next day at the Manhattan Bridge, and Kino is getting recruited. But first, a test. Raph is there, like right there.
Like right there.
And nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed.
The test they have to pass
is fighting. It's fighting.
It's fighting. And he passes. Raph is there too.
Yeah.
Kino kicks some ass.
He does.
Like some serious ass.
Mm-hmm.
He has one more test. Removing bells from a mannequin in 15 seconds. Without making any noise. Okay. Plus, it's under the veil of a smoke bomb because they work under concealment.
We work under concealment.
Good thing, too, because Raph steps in and removes all the bells for Kino.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem, because Raph's right there.
Yeah.
His 6-foot-tall green turtle.
Yep.
Nobody notices.
Who's never been good at hiding himself.
Never.
Isn't now either. But that's it. Kino is in the Foot Clan.
Yay, good job, Kino. Yeah, good job.
And Raph is still there.
Still there.
And ultimately gets Kino and himself busted.
Yep, that took way too long.
But not before Raph spotted Shredder.
I thought I just saw a ghost.
So it's a Raph and Kino versus all the foot soldiers.
Yep.
Obviously.
Obviously. I mean, the foot soldiers are like really bad fighters, notoriously, but still, the numbers. The
sheer numbers. Another fun fight in that special Ninja Turtle kind of way.
Definitely.
Resulting in Raph's capture.
Yep.
And Kino gets away, though.
Good job, Kino. Good job, buddy.
Raph is in some deep doo-doo.
Yeah, he sure is.
Kino heads to April's. He needs to find the rest of the turtles. Well, Kino must have found them because we are back at the junkyard.
All right, we're back at the junkyard with the turtle.
Donnie, Leo, and Mikey head in and infiltrate the compound. That was easy.
A little too easy.
Look, it's Raph.
a little too rough. that legitimately made me laugh out loud. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like,
good.
That's some surprisingly goofy, witty, funny writing in this movie. I like that joke big time.
They make it over to Raph, and it was a trap. The turtles get caught in a net.
Oh, no.
And Shredder is going to drop them on some spiky garbage. Thankfully, Splinter is there, and he saves them with a well-placed arrow.
Yes.
Hi-ya! Cowabunga!
Good thing they carry insurance.
Yeah, mutual of Splinter, dude.
Mutual of Splinter. That's a really... And the fight is on! Get them! It's another very fun turtle fight.
Definitely.
Then Tokka and Rahzar enter.
Didn't we see these guys on WrestleMania?
You know what they say, the bigger they are, the more bones you break. The turtles seem to be very overmatched with Tokka and Rahzar. They can't even do anything.
No.
They can't do anything at all to them to even slow them down a tiny bit.
Yeah, the donut scene has got to be one of the most iconic things in my childhood, though. I don't know why, but that scene specifically, I just feel like I've seen 9,000 times.
It's really good. Tokka ends up throwing Donnie across the junkyard into where Perry is being held, so Donnie breaks him out of there, and they all escape into the sewers.
Yeah.
Very convenient.
Sure.
Very, very
That's
convenient.
perfect.
The turtles, they bring Perry to their hideout, and they have some questions for Perry. He has much to tell them. Turns out the ooze was just a mistake.
Chemicals exposed to radiation and dumped in the sewer.
It was a complete mistake. It was like a random assortment of chemicals that got exposed to radiation that created this intense mutagen.
Sure.
He doesn't even know how it works or how it was created.
Just wants to get it.
The original reason the TMNT sequel got the title it did was because there was intended to be a huge reveal about the mutagen halfway through the movie. In the comic book series, the ooze that transformed the turtles was discovered to be a byproduct of an alien race called the Outram race. The idea of the TMNT sequel was to have the reveal set up to the famous Outram Triceraton Fugitoid story in the third film. The idea was scrapped, and the secret of the ooze was left as an ominous mystery in the title.
But there's no secret.
There's no secret.
The secret is it was a mistake.
It was a complete accident. So Krang is one of those races of aliens.
Okay.
So that's why there's no Krang, because he's an alien that does not get introduced. Where's Krang? There should be a Krang. There should be a Krang. So Donnie, he is very distracted. He thought there would be more to the story, not that it was just a complete mistake and a happenstance that they became who they are. Donnie thought they would be a little bit more special than that. Guess what, Donnie? You're not special.
You're not special.
Nobody's special. They have larger problems at hand, so the search for the meaning that Donnie is searching for has to be put on hold. Back above ground, and Tokka and Rahzar have been transported to the surface, and they're going to go wreck up the joint. Shredder wants to force the final confrontation with the turtles.
Master, say have fun.
So they do, and we get a few minutes of destruction, because why not? I love seeing stuff get bowled over and explode. Why not? I love that stuff. The next morning, and the result of Tokka and Rahzar's fun is all over the news. April tries to let the police in on what is happening, but they don't have any time for her and her games. You're a stupid lady.
You're a stupid lady.
They aren't the ones that are going to have to handle this. The turtles are going to have to handle this, especially since Freddy kidnaps April and leaves her with a message for the turtles.
Yeah.
Why did he kidnap her and take her to Shredder? He's like, you're going to tell these turtles about this instead of take me to the turtles.
Yeah.
Whatever. Back in the sewers, and April tells them that they have to go back to the construction site or Shredder is going to release Tokka and Rahzar on Central Park. But then what about the people in Central Park? Oh, no. Oh, no. So the turtles have to go face them, but they don't stand a chance. Perry thinks that there might be a chance that they can take on Tokka and Rahzar by making an anti-ooze.
An anti-mutagen.
For the layperson. So Perry cooks up some in the sewers, because sure. One thing, though, Tokka and Rahzar have to eat it for it to be effective. Good thing Mikey has an idea.
Ew.
At the construction site, and Mikey's idea? Donuts. Hey, is this going to work?
Is Schwarzenegger hard to spell?
So that's a yes.
Yeah.
So it is going to work, because Schwarzenegger is difficult to spell.
Yes.
I've typed it 1,000,000 times, and I still have to type it really slowly and like look at it, wait for it. Oh, there it is. Pop it up. There we go. And then Shredder's there, and he's like, "Welcome everybody. Welcome to the fight."
All we need now is Wide World of Sports and Blimp.
Dude, nobody knows what Wide World of Sports is anymore. Like if you show a 14-year-old this movie, they have no idea what the Wide World of Sports is. Correct?
Yeah.
They have zero idea.
No.
Wide World of Sports. What the hell is that? They don't know. It was a long-running television program for all you 14-year-olds out there. I'm sure it's on YouTube. So
Probably.
So Google it. How ironic that the very thing that was your making will now be your undoing. Tokka, Rahzar, let the games begin. And the fight is on.
Wait. First, we should observe the ritual of the pre-fight donuts.
Pre-fight donuts? I love how everybody says it in like unison.
Yeah.
Pre-fight donuts?
Num num.
Tokka and Rahzar, they eat the donuts.
Yeah, they do.
And they love them.
They love them. Who wouldn't?
Until Rahzar discovers the cubes of the anti-mutagen in them.
Get them.
So now the fight is on again for real.
Maybe I should have brought bagels.
That's another really good line. Maybe I should have brought bagels. And it's such a throwaway line. Like he says it in the background.
Yeah.
You can almost barely hear it the way it's mixed. I love that line. You take the ugly one. No, I'll take the ugly one. Which one's the ugly one? And oops, there's Vanilla Ice in a nightclub.
Yep.
Because it's 1991.
Exactly.
How long did it take Vanilla Ice to come up with such a lyrical masterpiece? If you believe him, it took about 30 minutes to come up with the whole song. He was speaking to MTV. He said he received carte blanche from... I don't particularly see... Vanilla Ice saying the phrase carte blanche, do you?
No, definitely not.
From the producers to come up with whatever he wanted, and he wrote the song from scratch. I wrote the song in my hotel room using an SP-1200, an old school drum machine. It took maybe 30 minutes to write it, and the rest we completed in the studio.
Nice.
Great.
Sure.
It's a pretty iconic song.
I mean, it's pretty cool.
It's a pretty, if you start going, go ninja, go ninja, go. Everybody knows that song
go
if you're our age, I guess.
Yeah.
The crowd in the club, they think it's a show. Just look at those costumes.
Go ninja, go ninja, go.
Tokka and Rahzar, they're burping some nasty burps.
Some nasty burps.
Which is bad news for that anti-mutagen.
It needs CO2 to work, and with Tokka and Rahzar burps, it reduces the effectiveness of the anti-mutagen.
So they need to reintroduce some more CO2, like from a fire extinguisher.
Oh.
Back in the sewers, and Kino wants to go join the fight. Splinter doesn't want him to go, but he goes anyways because he's like, "You can't stop me." And Splinter's like, "No, I can't stop you.
I can't.
I'm going." Back in the club, and the turtles jam the extinguishers down Tokka and Rahzar's throats, knocking them out. And they just take it.
Yep.
They don't fight back at all.
Don't fight back at all.
Just take it. Well, the Foot, they show up, and they don't stand a chance against the turtles, and neither does Tetsu. And we get a little turtle dance line.
Ew.
Even Perry's getting in on the dancing. Don't forget about Shredder, though. He's pretty pissed at this point. We're not through yet. The war is far from over as long as I possess this.
The ooze.
Kino shows up. "Hey guys, I'm here." Does a front flip onto the stage and kicks that ooze right out of Shredder's hand. I love that sequence. He's like, yeah. He just kicks that out of his hand. I love that. It's very, very funny. So Shredder grabs some floozy and pulls yet another vial of ooze and threatens to dump it on her. And he's just like, "I got this other ooze too, guys."
Yeah.
Just grab some floozy. So Mikey grabs a keytar and blasts Shredder across the room and out a window with the sound from a speaker. Okay.
Alrighty.
Sure. Was this before or after Black or White, do you think? I mean, it would have been like right around the same time because I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson's Black or White was like 1991.
Yeah.
Because the opening of that has Macaulay Culkin blowing George Wendt out of a window with some speakers. R.I.P. George Wendt. He just died like yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, R.I.P. George Wendt. Maybe that's why it was on my mind. I don't know. It had to be around the same time, so maybe it's a little borrow this, borrow that. Who knows? The Turtles, they had to go find Shredder. And they see Tokka and Rahzar, and they're back to normal, so that was pretty easy. They weren't. Outside, the Turtles think this is pretty much a wrap.
Cowabunga?
Yeah, cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Hey, Shredder punched through the floor.
Hey.
That's not Shredder. That's a super Shredder. It's actually Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
I love that Kevin Nash had like this sneaky cool like movie career before he was a wrestler.
Definitely.
Like he wanted to be an actor before a wrestler. I guess you're kind of an actor as a professional wrestler.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Maybe that's why he was like such a convincing dude as a wrestler.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
He never felt like Kevin Nash was playing a character.
Yeah, that's funny because in my head it was always the other way around. But yeah, this was before wrestling.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder when he joined the WW. Or was he WCW?
He was WWF first.
He was WWF,
and then they did something that broke the script in front of a live audience,
that's right.
like showing they were friends, so that he got kind of kicked out, and they went to WCW and did the NWO.
That's right. Okay. That's where I really picked up on him, and that would have been like 97, 98.
Yeah, definitely.
So his wrestling career probably started fairly shortly after this movie, I
sure.
would guess. Probably. Because, I mean, they got to really work their way up through that stuff to really make it on the big stage.
I'm sure he was wrestling while this came out, but maybe he wasn't a WWF star yet.
I wonder if this helped his trajectory within the WWF and the WCW.
Probably.
Probably did. It probably did. Okay, enough Kevin Nash talk. It's very cool the way Shredder busts out of there. I love the look of Super Shredder. So now what are they supposed to do?
No worries, Shredder kills himself.
No worries.
Seriously.
I get he's like, totally like aggroing out, because of the ooze and stuff. But they're like, Shredder, don't do this. You're going to kill yourself. And he's still like, smash, smash. And he kills himself. And he's dead.
Yeah, you definitely forget how short Super Shredder is in the movie. Like,
Not long at all. Not long at all. You'd think that he would have had like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, one fight.
Yeah, he had like a minute and a half. It was not very long. Not very long at all. So Perry thanks the Turtles on the news, and the TGRI mystery, it all mysteriously disappears. And Splinter calls them all idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Not
only that, but they ended up on the front page of the news. Ninja Rap is born. What a headline.
Yeah.
What a headline.
Sure.
They need more practice at being ninjas. 10 flips now. Go ninja, go.
I made another funny.
Roll credits. I do like that the movie ended on the same line. I made a funny. I love that it ended on the same line as the first movie. So, Trav, what did you think of this movie? What did you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze?
I mean, I love it. I never thought till right now that there is no secret of the ooze till you laid that out, which is hilarious.
No secret.
I feel like this one was my favorite as a kid. I didn't actually own the first one somehow, but I had this on VHS, and my grandma had the third one on VHS. So I've seen this one a lot. There's a lot of scenes like getting put up into the net, the donuts, the beginning fight, the big pizza and Roy's. Just so many that it's just like I've seen it so many times.
Definitely.
But I love it.
I really like this movie too. I thought it was a very fun, like, nostalgic trip. It really made me think of being a kid watching this movie. Because, like you, the second Turtles movie was a better movie for me at the time as an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, when it came out, I was like, oh, I love this movie so much. It's so awesome. It's so fun. It's so bright. It's so cool. It's very, like, relatable. It's very commercial, and stuff like that. In retrospect, as a 41-year-old man, the first one is so much better.
It is.
It's so much darker. It holds much more true to what the comics were trying to do. Not having read the comics, just from what I've read about people saying that it does that, I can agree with it. The second one, like I said, it's commercial. It's very fun to watch. You can tell, knowing that it was flipped in a year compared to the first one, you can tell.
Right.
Because there's times where you can, like, see the cinch on the turtles' necks.
Yeah.
Where their heads are fitting over their bodies. And I'm like, okay, I don't remember seeing that on VHS. But you can see it in its glory of Blu-ray. That is for sure.
And there's, like, 3 or 4 different areas they even are in the movie. Junkyard, April's apartment, sewers for a tiny bit, and Roy's.
That is true.
That's about it.
They really did a lot for that sewer set to barely be in it.
Yeah.
Like, that must have been very expensive, and they hardly utilized it.
Yeah.
They should have probably, like, maybe gone there instantaneously after the first time in April's apartment when she's picking up after the turtles. Maybe go get Into the Sewers a little bit quicker than that.
Right.
Because it was a very cool set.
Yeah, it was.
I would love to live there.
Definitely.
Except maybe I wouldn't really want to live
if I
there.
was a Ninja Turtle, it would be amazing.
Yeah, if I was some like mutant turtle outcast from society, that'd be amazing.
Definitely.
That would be
Hands
amazing.
down.
Hands down. If I were going to rank these movies as a kid, number 2 over number 1 all day.
Oh, yeah.
Rank it as an adult, number 1 over 2 all day.
For sure.
Are they both great? Yes. Are
Definitely.
they great for different reasons? I think so.
Yeah.
They're great for different reasons, but they're also great for one reason. They demonstrate that the turtles are fun to watch. They kind of keep a singular idea of who these turtles are between both movies. That's one thing that's very constant is the way that they act, the jokes that they make. They're a little less brooding in the second one, obviously, and we don't have that whole trench coat Raphael stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they're basically the same characters. And that's what makes both these movies work together because they are very different movies.
Yeah.
One is made for commercial success and the other was made to be more of like a true Ninja Turtles comic book movie. I wish Casey Jones was in the second one.
Definitely.
Because he was a shining star in the first one.
Yeah.
I loved his character in the first one. But they're both great movies and they both have nearly infinite rewatchability.
Definitely.
There's nothing that overly dates either of these movies by any means that make it like, oh, God, I can't watch it. There's no terrible CG.
No.
The Jim Henson puppetry in both movies really like allow these movies to kind of stand outside of time.
Yeah.
So you're not like looking back on the way that it was shot, the way that it looks to pull you out of what it is. You're not going to watch this movie like you would watch the first Mortal Kombat and see that terrible CGI and be like, oh God, is this from 1994?
Yeah. Right.
You could have made this movie in this style today and it would not look too dissimilar to the way it looks from the early 90s and late 80s. So they're both great movies and I can't wait to introduce these to Cameron for sure.
For sure.
I tried to introduce this to Evelyn. No interest.
No interest.
None. She's really turning into quite the girly girl, which is great. I love that about her. I love that she's doing that. I thought for sure she was going to be a little bit of a tomboy, but nope. Nope. We discovered facial care and nails being done and all this stuff, so she loves that stuff.
Yep.
No interest in the Ninja Turtles. No interest.
And people can hate all they want, but we are going to do the third one.
Yep.
And I still love the third one. I don't care what people say.
The third one is basically going to be homework for me because I bet you I've seen that movie twice.
Sure.
At the most.
Okay.
Because it came out in 1994.
1993.
So, I mean, I would have been 9. I don't know how I didn't see it more, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't see that more. Interesting. But yeah, it's only a handful of times at best, probably once or twice. So I can't wait to get to that. Maybe we should just wedge it in this summer. Just wedge it in. Maybe we should. That would be fun to complete the Turtle Trilogy. Turtle Trilogy. Well, Trav, with that out of the way, we get to talk about our homework assignment.
All right.
We're continuing the summer of DBZ.
Plug your ears, losers, because you're not going to be listening to the next episode.
I don't care what anybody says. These are some of my favorite episodes to do.
For sure.
DBZ Season 2, episodes 40 through 45. That is 5 episodes, motherfuckers. That's the angle. We're doing this angrily now.
Yeah.
So episode 40 is Held Captive. Episode 41 is Look Out Below. Episode 42 is The Search Continues. Episode 43 is A Friendly Surprise. That sounds fun. Yeah. Episode 44, Brood of Evil. That sounds less fun.
Yep.
And episode 45, Frieza Strikes. I can't wait to do more DBZ, Trav. I love doing some DBZ. It makes a niche podcast even more niche.
Yes, it
but
is.
It's some of our funnest episodes to do because they are very, very fun. So, Trav, with all of that out of the way, why don't you hit me with that outro?
Here it is, folks. We ain't got no emails today, so it's on you to email us at podcast@overduehomework.com if you want us to read some emails, give us some suggestions. I will save them for the non-Dragon Ball Z episodes so you can hear yourself and your question and your nonsense. But make sure you're following us on socials on Facebook and Instagram at Overdue Homework Podcast. And as always, make sure you tune in to the next exciting episode of the Overdue Homework Podcast.